Hello, everyone. Good morning. Happy Wednesday, whatever it is. How's everyone doing? Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Sterling. Thank you for putting in the ADP numbers. Good morning, Tony. Thank you again for tuning in. Morning, Heinrich. All right, Sterling's getting us caught up on numbers that came out. Oh, interesting for me was the non-farm productivity. Non-farm productivity bouncing pretty strongly. Prior was 3.6, expected 4.7 to 4.9, coming in at 5.2. But this is a quiet day. Good morning, Royal Palms. Hello, Anissa. How are you doing? Good morning, Legion Reaver. So that's the big thing. A balance of trade. Uh, Pretty close to inline. Pretty close to inline. That's what's really, remember, tomorrow is jobless claims and Friday's non-farm payrolls. Non-farm payrolls is going to be the big one this week. It's looking like it's sell vol buy all. Sell vol buy all today. All the mega caps up, chips up strong. Everything's up except oil. Oil. By the way, I recorded with Jim and Bob the Futures Edge podcast yesterday, so that will be out giving some more long-term thoughts. So you'll have to tune in for that, giving the long-term levels. But everybody here who's a regular is so smart, they probably already know the levels. Everything up today besides consumer defensive. So, I mean, it's looking for a bounce. Just look at the charts, watching for potential retest of the most recent high area going into Friday. We'll see. Still massive cuts on the table for all next year. We're going to see. Remember, we are 7 days, 4 hours away from the FOMC meeting. I mean, a full pause is just priced in. It's going to be an interesting presser with the easing of monetary conditions. So that's where we sit. Next week's going to be interesting. Fear and greed still in greed mode. In terms of earnings, we had Campbell's out this morning, but after we have GameStop, probably the most important stock in the market right now. GameStop after close. And Chewy. But the Dollar General tomorrow before the open. Tomorrow's after the close. Thursday after close is probably the biggest set this week. So that's what I'll be paying more attention to. All right. So still, this classifies me as a sideways correction still. Weekly cycles still at the top. By the way, if you're wondering why the charts are cleaned up, because I had to eliminate a lot of lines for the Futures Edge podcast, so the charts weren't so crowded. But where do we sit? We still have some key price action. And here's what I'm looking in the short term. Just on this little corrective move from the highs on Friday back to here. We got past the 62.5 earlier this morning. If I drop down time frame, you can see here we closed above it in the prior to European Open, a little dip, and then little dip flag and channel pattern, and then we just launched back above it. We've now hit the 75. I'm looking for this 4,600 again this morning, and then possibly 46.07 to 46.08 should it continue with some stronger price action into the open. The next key level above there that I'm focusing on is 46.17, then 46.34. To complete the 87.5 rule, we have 46.45. All right. The only negative thing is we got weekly cycles at the top, which are attempting to roll over. So I'm seeing if we can get a push higher into Friday's non-farm payroll. Also, if we push above the most recent highs from Friday, and pull off these levels real quick so we can see it better, from Friday, then we will be setting up for another pretty significant divergence up here. So waning momentum. But it's still, It would not be aggressively adding any medium to longer term positions. Anything else would be very short term. For medium to long term, it's in trailing mode from my perspective. Who else is here? Good morning, Richard. Off on Wednesdays. Yeah, Wednesdays is Sterling's day off. So, do you ever get any other days off besides? Is your dealership closed on Sunday, Sterling? I think you said it was, or is it open and you just don't work on Sundays? In Illinois, all car dealerships are closed on Sundays because of inane, whatever what do they call it? The blue. I don't know what the laws are called. They're just inane. They come on. If the dealership wants to be open, let them be open. So, but don't get me started. Okay, you'll see me doing the same thing here with the NAS. We're trading. You can see this resistance shelf from Friday's close and the reversal with Monday. And that's where we're trading at right now, the 16,025, which also happens to be the 62.5. So I'm going to be watching that to see if that holds going into the open. Above that, 16,086, which corresponds to a high on Friday. A high, when I say not the exact type of high, area on Friday, the 24th, on Monday, the 27th of November, and just below Thursday's high. So that's going to be another very key area. 16,086 to 16,001. Is the next target area. Then if we continue to march higher, 16,147, 16,150. If we really plow through to 16,208, the next key level is 16,303. What am I watching on pullbacks? 15,980 roughly. And then before I could get bearish, it would have to be printing pretty heavily, get a negative tick with momentum and below 15,940. Otherwise, when I say before I can get bearish, that does not mean I won't. I'll be looking at these key levels then as support, unless we're getting really negative tick and some momentum. Then I'll be looking for them to break. That's pretty much true. Back to the S&P, support coming in at 45.89, 45.90, and then I'd be looking for major support about 45.81, again, unless there's a severely negative tick and momentum bars. The Dow, yes, this would qualify and does qualify as a little mini double top, in case you were wondering. Not expecting it to trigger, but we got it on the chart. You got to be prepared. Now I'm also going to be using the little mini reverse harmonics up here for the next, if we break out, the stop raise target area would be 36,372, 36,406 is the next minor level. That's the key things I'll be looking at today. Really, support coming in at 36,260, breakdown zone about 36,200. Sunday, off on Wednesday. So, all right, the Russell still holding the upper end. Still, as I give you a little preview. I'm watching for the weekly close to see 1875 is key on the weekly close, even though we closed above that on the daily. The Russell's getting a little overextended, so I need to see a real weekly close before I'll stay in short-term bullish mode on the Russell. Other than that, your key support coming in at 1860, key resistance coming in at 1883. The VIX dropping. No popping, the VIX is dropping, so everything, if all keeps getting sold. So we are going to see, but I'm bumping this up just a hair. My key level starts to get in about 1330 before I get into more downwards pressure mode. The DAX, breaking out, all's fine. all's fine over in Europe, hitting the next two targets and then getting through the August highs. So, next key area, next major area is 16,859. 16,859. So that's where we sit right there. But the DAX on the power move higher, severely overbought. Getting why does that keep going back from? Why does it keep going back? There we go. I wanted to look at the weekly. The weekly also weekly cycles at the top. So this is trailing. Unless very short term would be still bullish plays, but this is getting extremely overextended. The 21 exponentials all the way back just around 16,000. So this is very, very overextended. So just can it keep going? Yeah, but we're getting to the levels that I would be ratcheting up the stop a lot closer. Can the VIX go negative like crude did? Well, I'm sure some people would try to sell it until it went negative. Could you imagine selling vol down? I mean, selling vol here, wow. It's insane. I mean, if you look at the longer term VIX, yeah, I mean, back when everything was just hunky dory, everything was in cheap money, great mode. We were sitting there at the low 12s, upper 11s, and now we're back down there. I mean, the thing again, everything is priced to perfection, but sell vol, buy it all. That's what a lot of the funds are doing. Sell vol. You get paid to sell vol, and you rotate it into the stockies. Just don't go into GameStop. Notes, watching for more of a topping area coming in. If it does push higher, we're coming up to, again, reconnecting with the potential 200. Last time we really reconnected with that was July of 23. So we're getting in that vicinity, and then I'm going to be watching for more of a topping pattern that's more significant than this, but it is running out of momentum to the upside. Let's get through these. I'm watching the, finally we reconnected with the 87.5 after the close below. So that's panned out, and we're coming into a very key support area, coming into non-farm payrolls. So I'm watching for a reversal pattern, but there's not a setup yet, a potential reversal pattern, I should say. Bear steepening has been taken off for the last couple days, but still, I mean, minus 33, still watching for more of a steepening pattern there. Dollar index still marching higher up against the rotation zone, watching for at least a short-term pausing to come in here. Potential pullback, but key support coming in about 103.20. Crude, I'm watching for this last push lower, hit that 70.56 area harmonic. We're in that vicinity right there. And then anywhere between the 70.56 and 69.25, I'm watching for very key support that would complete the sloppy head and shoulders, and coming into a very big support base. If it does drop below that 67.56, would complete the 87.5 rule. But I was really focused on the 75, which we just sliced through today. So I am watching. Is there a bottoming pattern yet? No. What's interesting is crude's massively pricing in a decent slowdown in everything. And the markets are pricing in the ultimate soft landing, if not even a soft landing, just a rah-rah mode. What else? Gold? I'm paying attention to yesterday's high and low. And I've now gone beyond single bar harmonics to the multi-bar harmonics from the high on Monday to the low yesterday. But the key level is about 2058, 2059, and then I would use the harmonics for upside targets. By the way, a close, if it does get a move on, a close above yesterday's high would be an aggressive percent B buy. So that's especially why I'm watching yesterday's high. That does not mean it has to trigger. It might not trigger. Wait, what's this? Americans will have to pay what for what? New York City, first city in America to charge Americans to go to work in the morning. $23 a day. Well, it already depends. I mean, if you're coming over the bridges, you already had to pay, or through the tunnels into Manhattan. But now, what is it going to be in the congestion zones? $15. You know what? I lived in New York for years. I lived in New York City for years. There's no way I'd move back there now. No way. Absolutely not. Insanity. 10-year, nothing going on there. The yen still watching for some putting in a bottoming pattern here, but nothing yet. Euro, watching for at least a little key reversal coming in over the next few days. There's, again, the double never triggered off the table. So any bounces, I'm just watching that 4-hour rotation zone. We're against very key support. The pound did trigger. So I'm watching for a lower price action here, 125.42, 125.12, 124.82. Watching for more. I'm really focused on this first target, though, 125.43. The spiders, again, let me ratchet these up now that we got the... Just remember 462.13. 462.13 is a minor target. I want to see where this targets take us. 462.31. So 462.13 to about 462.31. 38, 30. Sorry, 462.93. So right now, 458.68. The key resistance I'd be focused on would be about 459, 459.10. Then the highs from Friday. Then I would go up. This is a stronger pausing area, 462.93. Then we got a major cluster, 465.72 to 466.22. On any rollover play, first would be to yesterday's highs, 457.59 area, then the close to the gap fill, 456.60. Your very key support still coming in at 454.60. The Qs, we're going to, oops, didn't mean to move the whole thing, but there we go. The Qs, I'm doing the same thing as with the NASDAQ. Let me fix this other thing. I'm using the retracement harmonics and really watching this 380, what is that, about 389, 85, 87. We're trading above that now, so I'm going to be watching that to be support. Also, you see here, that's around the opening price from the 30th of November and the closing price of Friday. So that's a very key support. Above there, 391.27, 392.71. The 87.5 corresponding nearly with the open from Wednesday the 29th. So that's where we sit right there. And then it would be 394.14. Then if you're looking for the shorter term levels, should this thing just keep powering up through, I'd use 395.58, 397.01. What else do we have? We had Tesla trying to break to the upside yesterday and then still back below 240. So again, above 240, we're trading 245 is very key. 245 to about 246.50 is very key resistance. Above 246.50, you're looking at right around 249.20 to 250, and then the 252.75 areas. Isn't there the strike affecting Tesla? But see, these markets are just in full go-go mode, so don't fight them. Full go-go mode. NVIDIA was a percent beat buy yesterday. Watching for some followed through continuing price action. Would not be taking a ton of risk on this. But it was a percent beat buy yesterday after coming down to that 50% harmonic area and into the weekly rotation zone. So this could just be for a couple day pop potentially into Friday with cycles at the bottom. Apple Hold on one second. Apple officially hitting the second target. And what do we have? We still have next key area. Remember, you still have an Apple gap left behind 195.61 and then 197.06 are the targets to the upside, but this thing just keeps marching along. Little corrective there. This on Monday, it gapped open yesterday, but this with the follow through close was the official percent B buy, so we could see a couple more days of follow through also. What am I missing now? Did I see a daily cup and handle on DH? Do you see a daily cup and handle on DHI? It has a massive potential weekly double top and a mini potential daily double top. Is it sitting at all-time highs? Let's take a look. DHI. Yeah, that is a very large cup and handle. Whew, I mean, this stuff is all just insane. That's why you got to trade with the trend until the trend ends. Hey, where's Coco, by the way? Coco gave up on us. Oh well. Oh well. Yeah, that is a massive weekly potential double top. You know what's interesting? I mean, you could get that little breakout from the cup and handle. I doubt that'll hit all the targets, but I'd be more watching for a breakout and then use 166.33, which would not invalidate the weekly potential double top. Would invalidate the daily. But in the short term, this open might invalidate the daily, actually. That open looks like it's going to probably maybe invalidate the daily, but you know, if it breaks out, does not invalidate the massive weekly. But in the short term, unless that daily double were to trigger, you know, the still potential follow through to the upside. So that's where that sits. Why are there now 4 double targets? There's not 4 double targets. The double targets, there's always been 3. We have the harmonics, which are the 12 and the 25. The double targets, for example, if I put them on DHI, you'll see right here, there's not 4. Sorry. There's not 4. There's this one, this one, this one. This is just a reference line for me. Okay? There's 1, 2, 3. The color changes. It's always 3. There's not 4. Nothing's changed. So there you go. And by the way, I thought we had only the 125 and the 25 are, remember, those are for harmonics. So when you see these solid lines, the only time I use doubles are for head and shoulders and double tops, double bottoms. Everything else, they're the retracement harmonics and harmonic projections. And the harmonic projections, if you look at my settings, it is 125 and 0.25. So oh, I missed that. I forgot he was drinking shots. Okay. All right. So, again, not surprised to see some upwards price action continue in rah-rah mode. We'll see how that holds up going into Friday. Other than that, not much to talk about. I hope everyone has a wonderful and fabulous trading day. I'm just looking at going into the open. Key support still the same thing, this 45.90 on the S&P. Any pullback, that's what I'd be watching. Other than that, I shall be back tomorrow, and I shall talk to everyone later. Bye for now.